Can you learn 30 new words a day in a foreign language? This is something that I get in the comments all the time when I talk about learning this or that amount of new words per day. I always say the vocabulary is extremely important and that you should try to learn as many words as possible, simply because if you don't know the words, you cannot understand or speak the language, right? So you need to learn as many words as possible, as fast as possible. And whenever I talk about learning 30, 50, 100 words a day, whatever, I get a lot of comments of people saying that that amount is impossible. It's unrealistic, it doesn't work. And they always come up with a very arbitrary number that keeps changing depending on the person who's commenting. But they come up with a maximum number of words that is realistic to memorize in a day, to learn in a day. For some reason, they think they know the limits of the human mind. I don't know why. I don't know where they got the data from, but they think they know how many words exactly is realistic to memorize and how many it is not realistic to memorize. And for some reason, 30 seems to be something that triggers a lot of these people. A lot of them seem to think something like a word a day, or 3 words a day, or 5 words a day. 5 words a day is already pushing it, mate. But if you need to know 10,000 words and you learn a word a day, you're gonna spend 30 years to become fluent in a foreign language. So it doesn't work, right? You need to learn a lot more words. And the answer, of course, is yes. You can learn 30 words, you can learn 50 words, you can learn 100 words or even more every day if you do it right. And I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you some very basic easy to follow tips on how to learn more words and how to learn them faster. But first, let's talk about limiting beliefs, because a lot of these people seem to think that there are these arbitrary barriers. There's a certain amount of words that you can learn per day, and that's all. You can learn more than that. You can 5 a day is already pushing it. Like 6 a day, just impossible. Like, says who? According to whom? Like if that was real, then kids in school would still, like, you'd be 18 and you'd still be learning really basic math, right? If you were so slow at learning, like that's like 5 words a day is extremely slow. And to put things into context, like a word, the best way to learn a word is in context, right? In a sentence. And 30 sentences, you can read 30 sentences or listen to them. You can probably, unless you're completely illiterate, you can probably read way faster than you can listen, right? But 30 sentences is 45 seconds, 60 seconds of audio maximum. Depends on the language and the length of the sentences. But less than a minute of audio to listen to 30 sentences. Probably 30 seconds or less of reading when you are reviewing them by reading. And if you take into consideration that you need between 10 and 20 reviews of a word, you need to see it in context between 10 and 20 times to remember that word. Let's just do the maths, all right? If you have 30 words, less than a minute of audio, of listening time, or less than a minute to read the whole list, and you need 10 to 20 reviews on average, maybe you need a few more, maybe you need a few less because you're just really smart. But if a review of the whole list one review takes less than a minute, and you need 10 to 20 reviews, how many minutes do you need to learn that list? And I'm not saying that if you spend 20 minutes reading and listening to the list of 30 words over and over again, you'll remember them perfectly. No, maybe not. Maybe you'll forget them in a few days. But the thing is, once you've got that audio file, you can simply listen to that 1 minute audio file daily. It's nothing, costs nothing. You can add it to the rest of the audio files, because this is something you should be doing daily. Like you learn 30 more words tomorrow and 30 more the day after, and so that in a month you've got like 1,000 words that you've learned. And this is slow. You can do it like 10 times faster if you're really committed, right? But for the sake of simplicity, let's just stick to 30 days, 30 words a day. It's even after 30 days of learning 30 new words per day and reviewing them with audio files, that's half an hour of audio or less that you have to review. And by the end of it, you'll have so many reviews of the previous sentences, of all the previous vocab, that you'll be, if you review each new list of 30 words 20 or 30 times a day, the first day, and then once or twice the following days for a month, by the end of it, you will have like 50 or 60 reviews of that list, each one of those words from the list. You're not forgetting those. It's as simple as that. And I'm not even talking about mnemonics, which, by the way, you should learn to use because they're extremely effective and they would make this whole process way faster and more effective, right? So instead of 30 words, you can learn 100 or more a day. But even if you do it without mnemonics, like learning 30 new words takes less than half an hour of actual studying, because once you've read them aloud a few times, you listen to them. Basically, the easiest and simplest way to learn them is you listen to the audio file while reading the example sentences a few times from start to finish. And once you understand them easily, because you've got the translation next to them, you start shadowing them. You read it while listening and you say them aloud over and over. And then you read them aloud a few times without the audio as well. And then you just keep listening to the audio file for the rest of the day. And there's no way you're forgetting all those words. After like 30 reps of the sentences, you're not forgetting those words. Because that's like 3 times what you need, according to science, to the amount of reviews you need to remember a word. So it's as simple as that, right? The only difference between this, or the main difference between this and all the comprehensible input stuff, is that this is actually comprehensible input, but this is targeted and systematic, right? You're focusing on learning vocabulary systematically, focusing on learning all the common words, the common verbs, nouns, and adjectives through repetition, a lot of repetition, right? Repetition is a matter of skill. If you repeat those sentences, those words, and their example sentences over and over again, lots of reading, lots of listening, there's no way you're forgetting them. Especially if you'll forget them if you do this for a day and then you don't touch those words again for 3 months. Of course, you'll forget them. There's a forgetting curve there, and you need spaced repetition. But if you review them once per day for like a few weeks, you're not forgetting them. And reviewing them once per day takes, like I said, less than a minute for 30 words, 30 sentences. So if you think this is impossible, you're one of those people who are just looking for a problem for every solution. Like, I gave you a really, really specific, step-by-step and easy to follow, anyone can do it, very easy to follow plan to learn a lot of words quickly. But instead of actually trying for a few weeks and seeing what happens, a lot of people, not everyone, of course, most people are actually applying it and they're getting great results, but there's always like 1 out of 10 people that who just want to find a problem. They want to find a reason why it won't work even before they try. They're just looking to justify their failures. And this is because they won't actually do the work, so they want a reason why it won't work, so they don't even have to try. And this is what you call losers, honestly, because there are people who are looking for reasons to fail even before trying. They just don't want, they don't even want to try. So you shouldn't listen to these people. And if you are one of these people, you should just stop being like that, and you should actually try. When people give you a solution, don't stop looking for reasons why it won't work. First try for a few days at least and see if it works or not, and then maybe complain. And then and not even complain, like you should try to make it work a different way if it doesn't work that way for you. But I guarantee that this will work, because I've done this myself and I've done this with thousands of students now. And as long as you are consistent with the learning and you do all the steps, you follow all the steps, even if you skip the mnemonics, if you read and listen to the example sentences of all the vocab, there's no way you're forgetting those words. All right?